Hi, welcome to Open House. My name is Nancy Ballard. I teach English 2, English 2 Honors, and Journalism. I have a short PowerPoint presentation to introduce my classes to you and hopefully answer some questions that you may have about student expectations and requirements. If you have questions when it's over, feel free to contact me and I will do my best to answer whatever questions you have. We are going to run through this agenda in the PowerPoint. We're going to talk about the classes and what the classes entail, how and when and where to submit work, grading policies and expectations, what to do if you're absent from school, how can you get help, and then how to contact me. First, the course description for English 2 and English 2 Honors is pretty straightforward. We are building on students' understanding of informational text and fiction by applying skills that students learned last year and the year before and the year before. And so hopefully we expand their skills and prepare them for English 3 or even, post-secondary education. The course combines rigorous instruction with engaging interactive strategies and self-reflection to prepare students for post-secondary academic success. Self-reflection is extremely important because students can look at their work, they can see what they did right, and spend time thinking about why it was right, what they did wrong, and trying to determine what made it wrong and what would make it better. And that's a growing process. So I'm looking forward to working with students through that process. The course includes extended and complex writing components, both timed and untimed. We will, there's a state exam, and so in doing the timed writings and even in doing the untimed writings, it's helping us to prepare and pass that state exam because it's a graduation requirement in the 10th grade. We will do frequent analyses of literary and nonfiction texts, and we will encourage students and require students to complete some rigorous independent reading, which they should do fine at. Journalism is an elective, unlike English, which is required, and it satisfies a graduation requirement. In this class, students are going to learn the fundamentals of print and online newspaper production. We are currently learning about bios, what it means to be a beat reporter, personal profiles, the anatomy of a newspaper. So we've had a busy time in just the few weeks that we've been in school. Ultimately, this is going to develop student skills so that they can participate in the controlling, the creation, and production of the content for the school's newspaper, which is the Indian Trails. I know that if your student had journalism before this year, that you have heard Miss Ashley's name, and she did a great job, and they always produce an award-winning paper. And so I hope that I'm able to at least come close to the success that she had. For both classes, English and journalism, work is submitted pretty much the same way. I post the assignments on Focus, and I provide a way for students to turn it in there. It's important for students to get familiar and comfortable with getting their work off of Focus and submitting it on Focus, because this is the plan for the whole year. Even, now that we're going to be back in school, I'm still not going to collect piles of papers. It is more efficient and more effective to do it electronically. And that's what the plan is. Students oftentimes, things happen, and I understand they happen, but so the days of you lost my paper, that's over, because if you submit it to Focus, then there's no way for me to lose it. If it doesn't get submitted to Focus, then you can say, I don't know what I did wrong. I tried to submit it, and then I'll be glad to help you. I want kids to be familiar with that process and comfortable with it. Also, with the assignments, I post directions. We could go over all the expectations in class, but I will post brief directions in Focus to remind students of what they're supposed to do. There will be an upload link in Focus if they're actually supposed to upload an assignment there. And they just click it, and they can either upload the document or a picture of the document, and I will get it and grade it. The feedback has been a little confusing for kids so far, because when they open up their Focus portal and see their grades, there is a place where teachers can leave comments. And sometimes I will put a comment there, but if I am grading a paper, a file, it is like when I grade papers. So when I grade papers, I write notes to students about what they're doing right and what needs improvement. I do the same thing in the files that they submit. So if they only look at their grade, the big grade screen that shows all of their classes with all of their grades, they are likely missing their feedback. They will have to go back and open the document that was graded and look for the comments in there, and they will appear these little blue dots with this little speech bubble, and when they click on the speech bubble, there will be my comment. And so feedback is important. I know that is the path to improvement, and I try to be as helpful as I can with feedback. If there's ever a question and I didn't, for whatever reason, you don't understand the feedback or whatever, just ask. I'll be glad to help you. I believe that my grading policy is pretty straightforward, and I believe that it's pretty fair, and that's what we're going to talk about now. All assignments have due dates. Students should submit work by the due date. That's pretty straightforward. The truth of the matter is that students don't always do that. Sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's not. I am not here to say one way or another, but I know life happens and sometimes it doesn't get in on time. So if the work is not turned in by the due date, it is considered late. So what does that mean? It means the clock starts ticking, and they have a 5-day grace period. So if an assignment is due on Sunday night at 10 p.m., which their achieves are due Sunday night by 10 p.m. They don't have to wait till Sunday to do it. That's just the very last time that they can turn it in before the clock starts ticking. So they have until Friday of that next week to get it done and submitted. That's the 5-day grace period. I don't take off points. I might say you didn't turn your work in. I may grade the work before the grace period is up, so it reflects a 0. That oftentimes provides motivation for kids to get the work turned in. But I give them 5 days grace period, no penalty. After 5 days, my answer is going to be no, you can't turn it in unless there is some extraordinary circumstances. So I consider this whole year so far to have been an extraordinary circumstance. So I have collected work from the first day. I have been collecting it for 4 weeks now, 4.5 weeks. So I try to be flexible and fair. This whole year has been a whirlwind. Online today, in class tomorrow, whatever. So I've tried to accept that. After progress reports, which open house, so progress reports would have already passed, I'm not going to collect any of the work from before progress reports unless it falls in that 5-day grace period. One of the reasons that the main reason that I am so adamant about sticking to the 5-day grace period is because I allow kids to recycle. I have been teaching a long time, and I have You know, it doesn't take a genius. I'm not trying to imply that I have some secret, but it didn't take me a super long time to figure out that whatever time you give kids, they are going to take that long. The hardest part about some assignments for certain students is just getting it turned in. So if I give them a deadline and, okay, you didn't do it, so that's the due date, then the deadline after the grace period, they are do a better job. I have more return rate on work by doing that. And I do it so once they get it turned in, if they don't do well on it, then I allow them to recycle it. But they have to turn it in. They can't not turn in an assignment and then 3 weeks later realize that the assignment that they didn't do has adversely affected their grade, and now they want to turn it in, and they'll say, can I recycle that? Well, no. I mean, you didn't do it. You can't recycle something that you haven't done. So recycling is what it says. If you turned in something and you didn't do well on it, or you didn't understand it, whatever the reason, your grade is not what you are happy with, you can redo that assignment as many times as necessary to either meet the standard or earn the grade that you want. So I think that's fair. So that's kind of what I do. Attendance matters. So we do have a makeup work policy, and I do think the makeup work policy is fair. But attendance matters. There's just no way to get around the fact that attendance matters. Students are permitted 1 day to make up work for each day that they're absent. It's pretty straightforward. Absences don't affect due dates or grace periods. So if you have an assignment and you get the assignment today and it's due 3 days from now, but you're absent 2 days from now, it is still due 3 days from now. You still have a 5-day grace period. So being absent the day before a test doesn't exempt you from taking the test, even if that means you miss a review, because you can recycle it as many times as you need to get the grade that you're happy with. The problem with saying, okay, you don't have to take the test, then that means we have to make special arrangements for you to come and take the test, because taking it in class the following day, it just is a snowball effect on missing and late work. So if you're here, the expectation is that you do your work and get it turned in. If you're absent, you get the opportunity to make it up. If you don't do well on it, then you can recycle it. I do encourage kids to stay for tutoring, especially if they have less than a C. Even if they have a low C, I encourage them to stay for tutoring, because this is where I'm going to have more time to sit and explain something to you that you don't understand. I have 2 tutoring opportunities. The virtual tutoring is on Monday from 2:15 to 4, and that is for the online students. The in-person tutoring is on Tuesdays for from 2:15 to 4, and that's for the kids who actually come to school face-to-face. I do not stay long enough. It's for the activity bus. It's just not in my schedule to do that. I have obligations after school, but I will stay till 4. Students must have a way to get home before staying, especially if they ride a bus. They need to make sure they know how they're getting home before they miss their bus and then realize, oh my goodness, I don't have a way to get home. And then finally is my contact information. I ask that you allow 24 to 48 hours for me to respond to any message that you give me. Certainly if I hear it and I can tell there is, you know, it's imperative that I contact you immediately, I will certainly do my best to do that. The email is a good way to do it because it just is easier. It comes right to my computer, and I can sometimes your questions are quick and I can send those quick emails right back to you. The 455 number you see, it goes to my classroom. It goes straight to voicemail because we teach all day and that number goes straight to voicemail. I will get a message and I will return it. It is the least effective way, in my opinion. The email is good, and the next number is a Google Voice number that I have set up for parents and students. If you need to get a hold of me, you can text that Google number and I will get back to you as, timely is my goal. Students who need to get a hold of me, Teams is a great way to do that. They can @me, and I've been saying that for weeks now. Some of them still forget, but I continue to say it. Some of them, but most of them are doing a really good job at using the @ symbol and then typing my name in there, and that gives me a notification and I can get back to them quickly. If they don't @ me and they send me a message in Teams, then I just have to happen upon it. I don't see it unless I'm just going through the chat looking for stuff. So it is, extremely important if they're going to send me a message on Teams to use that @ symbol. I am so glad that you have joined us tonight, and I am looking forward to a great year with you and your student. And my goal is for kids to be successful. And if I can do anything to assist with that beyond what I do on a regular, please let me know. I appreciate your time and hope to speak with you soon.